The Megami Saikou that I envision is not some hentai story plot bullshit with most of the beautiful girl in the whole fucking school falls in love with some asshole main character just because he's there or how he helped her from that one time that start fucking within the next 5 minutes. That's my fucking reason. Stop fucking with us, anime. That's not how reality works. Don't give me that hope.
Yandere Simulator Ride is a project by Jason Wright, an alternative storytelling from Yandere Dev, as the characters are meant to meet my original characters in the near future. The story begins in 2014.
Since this video has been postponed for a year, I will sound very different. I will place the date of the recording on the bottom left of this video so you can compare the me from 1 year ago and the current me.
Project Yandere Simulator Ride will be a boring content, meaning that all Yansim characters will be nerfed into normal human being or real life setting.
3,650 milliliters worth of semen.
But a bit of fantasy, just for the sake of plot.
And from this video onward, it will no longer be a theory video, but a sample of what I envision of the future project of Yandere Simulator Ride.
With that out of the way, let us begin.
The Megami Saikou we know is the last and most powerful rival Ayano Aishi will ever face. It's a beauty with brains but cold at heart. Walks and talks like a god, but will never understand what it is meant to be human. This analysis is from my point of view. If you have any question, leave them down in the comment section below. These are the characters she was based on, and Yandere Dev stated that this character's persona will be used. But I'm not gonna talk about these characters or Yandere Dev's version of Megami Saikou. I'm going to talk about mine's. When I first learned about her, I was trying my best to find reasons why she could fall in love with a fuckboy. I ignored her for at least 4 to 5 months before I learned Amanda Lee is her voice actor. I'm a huge fan of Amanda Lee since she sang SAO Crossing Field back in 2012, which triggered me to connect some dots to Asuna Yuki from Sword Art Online. That's not the main reason why I chose her to be Megami. In the words of Kinoko Nasu, Saber has fought for a long time as the ruler of Britannia, but then turns into a girl all of a sudden and fell in love with Shiro. It's pretty ridiculous when you think about it. This is exactly why I hated the idea of Kanga Kushiha and Megami shipping years ago. This includes Taro Yamada. He's a simple guy. Deaf, probably. But that changed when I reimagined Kanga to be the ideal husband for Megami. Period before Aman Lee, there was a YouTube video which no longer exists, gave me the foundation to who Megami is today. Honeylicious. Her idea of Megami not loving but using Taro Yamada as bait described what desperate people would do to keep themselves safe. Just like all villains would do, Uncle Dom will always say,
Your brother never told you never threaten a man's family?
why Asuna Yuki? They both share some similarities. Both have brothers. And both love interests are into science and technology. What set these two apart are their ideologies and tragic backstories. The Megami Saikou I envision is a strong woman, a fair leader, a kind-hearted young woman who protects the weak and is willing to raise and push everyone high above her own self. Because she believes with power comes with great responsibility. I wasn't made aware of the type of deres within the Yansim universe, other than Ayano being a Yandere and Osana being a Tsundere. so I just copied 90% of Asuna into Megami. Osana Najimi does share some trait from Asuna because I was fully influenced by Sword Art Online. I had a very different childhood.
Part 1. The Humble Goddess. Tragedy makes a character. She was conceived by her mother's action on saving her father from his suicide plan. She lost her mother at 3 months old. Her grandfather ditched the perfect woman image and raised a good granddaughter. She met her surrogate mother at age 6, and most of her upbringing is stable. A student on the weekdays, CEO training on a Saturday, and a spoiled daughter on Sundays. When Megami came to an age where she is mature enough, her father gave her a choice: lead the family's company or live a life like her mother. Curious of her mother's upbringing, she decided her mother. Her father accepted and respected her choices. But that quickly changed as her father died not long after.
During the day of her father's funeral, Megami received an unwanted but invited guest, Kanga Kojiha, the most hated man in Megami's eyes. Since her father isn't there to protect her anymore, she has to stand and protect herself. Because of the way Kanga was dressed, she thinks he's here to take advantage of her. This boils her blood even more. She let her emotion get the better of herself and confronted him. After what was said and done, Kanga didn't react nor make a scene like he usually does. He remained calm and respectful towards Megami. He understood her frustration and apologized. He then explained the reason why he was here. It was her father's last wish to deliver the research documents that Kanga had towards his daughter, and for Kanga to take over the company so Megami can live her life as she wanted to. In her mind, she knew Kanga could be lying. She could have destroyed the documents to make her point, but her heart says otherwise. Megami was raised to identify the good and bad of a person, and she can see it in his eyes. Eyes she's very familiar with. Eyes that never lie nor will betray her. The eyes of her father are reflecting in him. He was seeking redemption, and he started with her. Megami accepted his letter of employment and placed him as her COO. Megami was absent from school for more than 6 months due to her father's passing and her surrogate mother returning to her homeland. Link to the video at the top right. During the evening of the 3rd day of her week returning to school, Megami was faced with a life-threatening decision between the Yandere who was about to take the life of a man or that same man who was about to take the life of her own. Under the cold night sky, fate had made that decision. Megami now questioned her own intel about Yanderes, believing that all Yanderes are the same. She witnessed humanity in this so-called monster. Her cry wasn't something fake. It was genuine emotion of distress, pain, sadness, and regret. Then a question popped up in her head. Could this be one of a million chances of difference? After saving the Yandere from the police station, she declared the Yandere was only protecting her and is a close friend. Megami then brought the Yandere back home towards her mansion. She bathed her, fed her, and gave her a place to stay for the night since her parents isn't around. For hours, Megami tried to re-piece together her intel, trying to understand her current situation. But all her findings led to a dead end, and she knew there was more than meets the eye. She then remembered her father's diary, remembering that her father forbid her from reading his book. It was planned the book to be buried with him, but it didn't happen since the surrogate mother wanted Megami to learn from her parents' past mistake and be better than them. For the first time in her life, she went against her father's wishes and read it. She learned a horrible truth about her grandfather's action towards her father that made her today. How her parents' decision to protect the Yandere's mother during their high school days, and how her father met her surrogate mother. And finally remembered the promise she made with the Yandere during their childhood days. On the morning of the fourth day of her week, Megami put the question to the Yandere. The Yandere told Megami everything she knows and what her reasons were, along with childhood stories that her mother spoke of, and a friend named Info-chan. Megami concluded that she was manipulated by her so-called friend. She believed the main reason is revenge, informing the Yandere that her mother destroyed Info-chan's father during their younger years. Megami offered her protection and promised her to help her in any way she could, but with one condition. And true to the Yandere's words, she spared Info-chan during her final battle on the rooftop. When Megami arrived, she witnessed them both already forgiving each other and helped them in any way she could. Megami apologized and told Info-chan that it was also her father's doing, and vowed to get them out of this mess. Days and weeks passed, everything went back to normal. Students, teachers, and lovers alike continued as if nothing had happened. Only those closest to the Yandere were affected. As for Megami, she was thinking on how to live a life like her mother, while also trying to fix the mess her father left behind. The Yandere stopped by to check on her, telling her not to carry the whole burden on her shoulder. What had happened had happened. Megami felt fate is guiding her, making her see things differently. A thought came to her. What if this incident wasn't the only one? What if there were others out there? What if those people were like her mother, died just because of some misunderstanding? Then it hit her. What if she could prevent that kind of fate? What if she could set up a department to detect this kind of behavior? What if the Yandere has a third option? Megami has the power, but she alone wasn't enough. She needed to become someone big, powerful, and has unlimited resources to alter the future. And she knows just how to get it. But I'll leave you with this image of a family. And Saikou Corp's first male heir in 3 generations. This is Jason Wright. For now, I'll see you off. Why Asuna Yuki? Well, I'm a big fan of Sword Art Online, and my waifu is Asuna, and my boy is my boy is Kirigaya Kazu Kirito. So I decided to fit This video here is fucking outdated. I am putting Shido as Taro's voice actor, while Kirito will be Kanga's voice actor.
Megami is raised to identify people, good and bad. During an annual meeting, Megami mingles with other children of her age. When she first met Kanga, Kanga was found between the good and bad. Megami was interested in Kanga, but after seeing his attitude, she turned away. Just like in anime, many adults tries to make a deal with Kanga's parents, but all were turned down as Kanga is still a child. This also applied to Megami, but instead Megami's father told them to fuck off. As Megami has her right to choose how to live her life.